Hey guys, it's Looch. This might seem a little nutty. I rewatched Get Back, the Peter Jackson Beatles documentary, in one sitting. And I'd only seen it once before, when it first came out in November. The Beatles, you heard of them? Whoo! And I had different thoughts. And I wanted to share with you, if you've watched it more than once, there's so much to unpack, and I did get different things out of this one, and I feel like I can watch this for the rest of my life. I'm happy. In the second viewing of it, I had a little more open mind of, okay, so George was treated like the young kid that just wasn't up to snuff in the songwriting department. Maybe, I think that, I'm going to say it, George Martin is a stuffed shirt, square, snob. Glyn Johns, who is recording all of this, hours and hours and hours of recording, he worked with the Stones. He's done tons and tons of stuff. And of course, the big takeaway I think a lot of people had was, man, what a dresser. At the beginning of the movie, it gives the warning of there's a lot of smoking in this movie. And it should also say, and a lot of fur coats. But it makes you want to go out and buy a fur coat and start smoking. One thing I noticed was the sort of push-pull between John and Paul, in that both thought the other one was sort of the leader of the group. And the dynamic that neither one really at some point thought, well, we need like a Brian Epstein. We need somebody to tell us what to do. We need a father figure. I also picked up a lot of just the idea of Ringo, again, being so low maintenance when they're agonizing about, should we do the rooftop concert? And just, how much time is dedicated to that? And at one point, Ringo goes, I want to play on the roof. And John goes, I want to play on the roof. And you can see George just change his mind. Like, do it for Ringo, for God's sake, he's asked so little, and it was really exciting. And I guess, I know that it's going to be shown in like an Omni theater, and I don't know if that's going to change the scope of the actual screen or what, but the other thing to look for in the second viewing is when Lennon washes his hair and doesn't. There's something nice about the lack of vanity, but the difference between a freshly washed Lennon and, But I find it riveting, again, to watch that process, even though, you're hearing one song many, 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 many times, but the fun they had. And that part was extremely humorous to me, again, watching John and Paul singing old classics and old standards of their own, but with like their teeth gritted to the whole thing, or in weird accents.
Wearing raincoats, standing so low in the sun.
Anyway, my second viewing of Get Back was as fulfilling as the first, and if you've watched it more than once, I'd love to know what you think too.